What's going on everybody, and welcome to Python 3 basics tutorial video. And in this video we will be starting with the fundamentals of Python. Now, to work with any programming language we need an IDE. An IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, and Python comes with an IDE itself. It's called IDLE or IDLE, which stands for Integrated Development and Learning Environment. Well, idle shell provides us an environment which will give us the output of each particular line of code we are going to write. So it's more of an interactive environment. So it's going to be easy for us to understand how Python works. Now to open IDLE, press Window plus S on your keyboard and search for IDLE and then press enter. Okay, so here's Python shell. Uh, Now what can we do with this? We are going to start with the basic command, which is, or which can be, an addition command. We can write 2 plus 3, which gives me 5. We can write 4 minus 9, it gives me minus 5. We can go with multiplication, 2 into 3, it gives me 6. 3, it gives me 6. And for division we can write 9 divided by 3 gives me 3.0. Okay, now you can if you noticed, the difference is we are getting a decimal value when we use the operator slash. So what's happening is, when we add, subtract or multiply we get the integer value, but when we divide we get the decimal value. This decimal is known as an float. Okay, 5, minus 5 and 6 are integers, but this 3.0 is known as a float in Python. Okay, okay, we can use, see, for example, we can use, let's say, 3 divided by 2, it's going to give me 1.5. So here's the difference. See, we are getting a decimal value here. If you use 7 divided by 2, it gives me 3.5. Okay, now what if I want only the integral part of a division? So for that we are going to use double slash operator. Write 7 double slash 2. Okay, it's going to return me 3. It's only the integral part. And what if I want only the remainder? Now for that we are going to use another operator which is called modulus. Now for that, write 7 and this modulus operator and 2. When I press enter it returns me 1. So 1 is the remainder when I divide 7 by 2. That's how we can use modulus operator. Now the other part is, there's an exponent. What if I want an exponent of a number? So then we are going to use double asterisk. Okay, write 3 and double asterisk 2. Well, it's going to return the value of 3 square, or 3 to the power 2, which is 9. Okay, we can also use multiple operator in a single command. Like, we can use plus, minus, all these operators in a single command. For example, write 4 plus 4 into 3, it gives me 16, so it also works. We can also use brackets. For instance, say 5 minus bracket 3 multiplied by 2, bracket off, and then divided by 3. It's going to return me 3.2, which is the answer. Moving on, the other part of this video is going to be on strings. Well, strings are a collection of characters, basically a sentence or a word. Well, these are which are defined by using single or double quotes. Well, for example, I am going to write Python in single quotes. Python in single quotes. And when I press, okay, now when I press enter, it returns the same, which means there are no errors. Now let's take a look at some problems which we might face while working with strings. Now what if I use a single quote inside a string while let's say I'm writing Python's a programming language in which I'm using a single quote inside the string. Now when I press enter, it returns me a error, right? A syntax error which says invalid syntax. Okay, so basically what's happening is single quote inside this string has a special meaning right now. It is used to define a string. So Python is not able to understand what we are trying to say right now. So what I'm going to do is, or what we can do to avoid this problem, is we can use double quotes instead of single quotes while defining a string. So I'm going to write Python's a programming language inside double quotes, and when I press enter, it returns the same, which means there are no errors now, right? Okay, well, what else can happen? See, what if I want to use both single and double quotes inside a string? Let's say I'm going to write Python's programming in double quotes language. So when I press enter, it's going to again return me a syntax error, because here both single and double quotes has a special meaning, right? Uh, Now to avoid this, we can use a backslash. See, well, how I'm going to use a backslash? Well, I'm going to write Python, and I'm going to write backslash apostrophe s and then a single quote. So what it's going to do is it's going to ignore the special meaning of that particular single quote or particular special character. So when I press enter, it's going to ignore the special meaning of the single quote and hence will not give any error. Okay, what else can we do with strings? We can use plus sign. We can use a plus sign in strings. Like I'm going to use Python and then plus and programming in single quote, and then when I press enter, it's going to return me Python programming. Well, what's happening is it concatenated these two strings. It uses it just joins the two string. It joined Python and programming without any space. It just used the plus as an operator for strings. Okay, now we can also use a multiplication sign. When I write Python is a programming language in single quote and multiply it 3 times, and when I press enter, it's going to return me Python is a programming language 3 times. It just printed it 3 times. Okay, now the other thing which we are going to talk about is print function. Well, if you remember, I use a command print hello world in the previous video. So when I write this print hello world and press enter, it gives me it returns hello world. So what's happening is we are using a function called print, and a function in Python is used to perform a set of tasks when and if called. So when I'm calling a function print and passing a string hello world in the brackets, so it's going to return an output with a string value, right? Okay, uh, the other case can be when I'm using, like say I'm using a print function, typing this C user new folder, right? So what happened is uh, C user got printed as it is, and this EW folder got printed in the next line. So what happened is instead of printing backslash n, it printed a new line, right? So backslash n in Python has a special meaning too. It means a new line character. So whenever it reads backslash n in string, it's going to print a new line. Okay, so this is also an sort of an error which we might face later on. So to avoid this, we are going to use double backslash n and then EW folder. So what's going to happen is it's going to ignore this one backslash is going to ignore the meaning of other backslash. So it's going to print it right as it is, right? It's going to print C user backslash new folder. So the other thing which we can do to avoid this is we can use raw string. Now to use raw string, we can write R before a string and then just print the string as it is, right? It's going to print the string ignoring all the special meaning of any character if present in the string. Okay, that is it for this video. Today we learned how to work with idle and how to work with integers, strings. We also discussed some of the things which we should keep in mind while working with strings. We also used the function print, and I guess these are only the basics of Python. This is only required for the basics. And in the next video, we'll start with variables. Now, if you like this video, please press the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.